Hey, what's up everyone? I wanted to show some tech before its time. Now I know the Nazis and Hitler and the Nazis were very technologically advanced in spite of the very heinous things that they did. And they did a lot of experiments, but I don't ever remember seeing this. I never remember hearing about it. Hoverboards during that time. Now these had propellers on them, obviously, as you can see here. But I don't ever remember seeing anything like this. Why wasn't I shown this in history class? And it was very advanced for its time. Like the one-man amphibious copter. Check this out.
It's a plane, it's a cycle, it's super amphibious. The test flight is in suburban New York.
Now the guy strapped himself in there so that he wouldn't fall to his death or be cut up like in a blender. But I don't remember these platforms ever being taught in schools or anything. These flyers in the 1950s, the 1940s, the 1950s. I mean, they're just incredibly ahead of their time. And you'd think if we had that then, why hadn't we advanced further than that by now? Now that could account for some of the the things that we're seeing, where they thought it was a La Bruja ghost or a witch ghost. You see the RC flying man. It's kind of like it's radio controlled. We even have flying human suits now, where you can, like super suits for people, for our army soldiers and things like that. But I mean, we've had all this technology. This was released a day after my birthday. Check this out. This was this year. I remember these things just until recently. You had to have these. There was that, but you had to have these pipes that would have been connected to water, and they would have been like that, and on both sides, and it was connected to this water jet propulsion device, and it looked like that, and they were that's what it would have looked like. That's what I remember. And now you go back and you see for years and years they've been using these things. That's what I remember. I remember them having to use these jet propulsion water. They used the water to help them fly. It really wasn't a hoverboard. Now it's legit a hoverboard. He flew over the English Channel. This guy actually flew over the English Channel. Some of these devices are mind controlled. They even have devices now that are controlled by the mind. They announced a few days ago. But it just seems so bizarre. It seems like we suddenly everything is a whole lot more advanced. But you'll see his video from last year. He made some jet propulsion technology, and he sells them online. Some of them are $8,200. Jetpacks and things like that. Check this out. Check these jetpack devices out, where human beings they actually have a smart screen on their face, and they can fly. I remember a few years ago that was impossible. So, but apparently this flying suit only goes back to around 2017, 2018, but I remembered it being a lot earlier than that as far as using the pipes. This is what I remember. I remember not too long ago you had to use these flying boards devices, but they used water. and they stated Aquaman meet Iron Man, and he was flying using the water, but they had these pipes attached to it, and that's what I remember being. This is the way I remember being the primary form of a flyboard. And then all of a sudden, after 2011, we see in 2017 or 18 now. But I remembered it was like 2016. Suddenly, boom, they advanced into flyboards, but now it's like they've been doing this since. I mean, why, if they had that kind of technology before, why suddenly did we? Why did we now have to use water, and then all of a sudden now it's a big progression to have used flyboards when apparently they had that in the 1940s and 50s, and then again with the technology you see here in the 1970s, the flying platform in the mid-1950s, the one-man amphibious copter in the 1940s and 50s, and then the segue of airplanes that they created. Hitler and his Nazi army created this flying device where you could fly on it, and they put protective padding around the area where you would likely not be harmed by the blades. But I know Hitler was working on a lot of technology. Sadly, they even made lampshades out of Jewish individual skins, and it was awful what they did back then. They killed so many people, and it was really awful. It really was. Even though the German army was advancing and the military was advancing with technologically, and they leaped in advancement with technology, and we had to stop what they were doing. And I think the Russians took their technology and all of their designs and plans, and I think they took them over the hills, over the mountains, and confiscated them. But it was really sad what they utilized their technology for. It really was. Just like we're doing today, we're utilizing things for the wrong purposes. But then you have 2012 WASP project, and then you've seen in 2006 people thought a witch was going, and it could have been something supernatural or paranormal, but it also could have been the WASP project or this flying board. It could have been something like that. If you look what was seen right there when the Mexican individuals captured this on tape, May 17th, 2006, and everyone thought it was a witch flying over there. And I'll admit it was creepy at the time, and it still is slightly creepy, but I mean, it's very shaky footage, but cameras weren't the greatest back then. I mean, it could have easily been what we see today. Like, it could easily be someone. Now, there weren't drones then people didn't have they didn't have drones that were just for the general public back then. Only the military had stuff like that. So, give your thoughts on this. Was it the WASP project? Was it what was that was seen in 2006? Do you think that was what this was? But first of all, this technology goes back way further than I remember. I don't remember anything about. I mean, our teacher in 11th grade for history, American history, and world history, the teachers, they would have taught. You would think they would have taught this because they went into detail about Hitler, the Nazi regime, and their control and their technology and advancements and things, and the cruelty and everything. They went in detail, and you'd think I would have seen by now these flying boards, flying platforms, hoverboards, and amphibious copters, and all of these flying devices, and WASP devices, and real flying men, and now suddenly we have a jet suit. Boom! We suddenly have a jet suit and a hoverboard, a real hoverboard, where this year a man flew across the English Channel, the entire English Channel on a hoverboard. So, give your thoughts on all of this. Technology seems to be before its time in this reality. Tech before its time. and the reality around us. Peace. Much love. Bye.